Well, joining us now is Jason Coyne, an IT consultant who raised concerns about Horizon 20 years ago. Thank you so much for coming on. I mean, what alerted you to the fact that there were big issues in Horizon, and how widespread did you think these issues were?
Well, at the time that I looked at it, it was concerning one particular postmaster in the post office at Cleveland's. And the post office was taking an action against her for transactions that had taken place in the year 2000. Post office had actually lost the details from the year 2000 transactions, so didn't have those for me to have a look at. But when she told me that she'd been telephoning the help desk constantly, I managed to secure 90 of the help desk calls, along with some of the post office and Fujitsu analysis that was done on those calls. And as a result of looking at those, clearly within 61 of the occasions that she'd telephoned the help desk, there was evidence within those calls that there was problems with Horizon hardware, problems with the software, and problems with the communications. And it was noted by either Fujitsu or Post Office that there was worrying discrepancies, which concerned me.
Jason, I mean, for us, me and Alex here, I think this is what you call a bombshell moment. Now, you investigated one of the first postmasters to be accused. Now, my theory, I'm speculating here, but I imagine that all investigators who talk to these sub-postmasters must have been told by the sub-postmasters, we think it's the computer. We didn't do this. It must be the computer. This presumably is what the sub-postmaster that you investigated said to you. So when all these investigators, I'm not casting any aspersions about Stephen Bradshaw, who's in the dock today at the inquiry, but when they say, oh, we had no idea about the Horizon computer system possibly being glitchy, possibly being dodgy. I mean, every sub-postmaster must have been saying this. We didn't do this, it must be the computer. So this idea that the possibility of a faulty computer system never cropped up until they got to court, I'm not buying it, are you?
No, not at all. And certainly when my report went in to Post Office, I mean, it was a joint report. I was hired by both the Post Office and by the Cleveland sub-postmaster at the order of the court. When my report went in, the Post Office asked me whether there was any other information that might persuade me to alter my opinion. So as part of that, I asked for further information about the defects that I believe within the system. And I was told that there was no further information. And then within days of that, I was stood down and was told that my report did not need to be submitted to the court.
So let me get this right.
Can I just ask
this
you,
is
Jason,
incredible.
Jason, have you been asked to appear at the inquiry?
Yes, So my involvement going forward from that was then in 2016 when I was instructed by Alan Bates and his legal team. And then again, I've been asked to go and give evidence to the inquiry.
Good. Well, your evidence will be important.
I mean, I just want to sort of really recap what you've just said there, because it sounds to me, because of course, in a lot of these prosecutions, both the accuser and the person being accused were the Post Office, if you will. And so you were asked as an independent expert to have a look and write a report. And when you did this, let me get this straight, the Post Office then said, please change it. And when you said, I need information, they wouldn't give it to you. And then they threw it out and said, we're not going to allow this to be submitted.
Nearly. I mean, they didn't ask me to please change it. They said, is there anything that we could show you that might persuade you differently? Which in itself isn't unusual, because that would generally prompt my request for additional information. So it's always good that if there's other information that's available, that it would be provided to me. But from the information that come out in the inquiry in 2022, which I hadn't seen at the time, was that internally within Fujitsu and Post Office, they were taking steps to essentially discredit the report And then there's a record of an email saying the best way to deal with this is to throw money at it and keep it out of the public domain.
So just to reiterate your shocking story, you investigated a postmaster, presumably a wrongly accused postmaster, told the post office, listen, I think there may well be problems with this Horizon system. There may well be something in what this sub-postmaster is saying. And the post office said, how about you amend your story and say there's nothing wrong with the Horizon system? And when you refused to do that, they said, well, thank you very much. And they showed you the door. So this, frankly, is a cover-up, isn't it?
Many have said that, and certainly the emails would be consistent of a desire to keep something out of the public domain, because they are the actual words that are on the email.
And when you, I mean, I don't know if you've been watching the ITV drama, but no doubt you can't escape the huge maelstrom of news surrounding this scandal. How does that make you feel? Have you sort of looking back 20 years ago thinking, I wish I had been able to do more?
Yes, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, Post Office could have at that point in time took a decision that they need to do a more thorough examination of the system before making a prosecution decision. But one of the witness statements that I was provided back in 2003 was actually from the branch area manager of the Post Office, that said quite clearly that she had looked within the Post Office and reported back that there was, quote, no technical problems related to the system. And I said in my report back to Post Office that that is clearly wrong, because on the first part of looking at these call logs, there's evidence on at least 61 occasions of there being technical problems. So that witness statement that had actually gone in or was being prepared for the court was clearly wrong.
I think, Jason, what you might be described as is a key witness in this saga. Your story is extraordinary and shocking, and thank you so much for joining us.